Welcome to Tangata Pacifica. This program is on Pacific suicide. We know it's a difficult subject, one that affects our families, our schools, our churches and our communities. But if we don't talk about it and ask why our young people are dying, what we can look out for and how we can help, the death toll will continue to rise.
It's a very underground issue. People don't talk about it, families don't talk about it.
We talk about it in secrecy.
I definitely believe that that tapu has to be broken.
The evidence suggests that New Zealand-born think about it more and we plan it more and we're attempting more than those who have migrated from the islands.
For us, suicide was never on the table as an option for our young people, but I feel now that it is.
There's something, so profoundly tragic about the death of a young person by suicide that it provides us with the impetus to get more things right.
The suicide rate amongst Pacific people isn't as high as Māori or European, but when it comes to attempting suicide, our young people are right up there. Last year in Auckland alone, 18 young Pacific people died of suspected suicide. 2 of them were under the age of 13. You're about to hear what the loss of young life feels like.
I'm angry at him, and I try not to be, but I am. Angry because he left. I'm angry because he couldn't cope, and I wasn't there for him. I'm angry at myself. I'm just angry at the moment. To me, he's taken a half of me with him. I will never the same again. 18 years, that's a lot of years for the mother, and a son all of a sudden just cut short with no reason.
They're talking about Tyrone, the baby of the Filiva'a and Zarins families who took his life. A gifted sportsman, he was selected for the Warriors development team and was offered a scholarship to Kibra High in Australia, a feeder school for West Tigers. So when he ended his life just before his 18th birthday, it rocked his family.
I thought, how many times I'm always just you and me in the car? Why didn't you only say something that would change a little bit? Make me think differently, make me ask more questions. Are you all right? Are you happy? But no.
He would talk about league and his coaches and stuff and how hard it was, and he would say things like he wasn't good enough. That's one thing that I could see now. Maybe he was a little bit depressed there because he didn't see how good he was. And that's one thing I wish that I said to him, you're the man, you're the best in that team. But it's like he was blinded and he didn't see that. All he could see was negativity.
His failures and...
he didn't see how good he was.
He had a lot on his plate and we didn't realise that. And with all these things, how much pressure must have been.
Because he was...
he was only a kid, he was only 17 years old.
Yeah.
Dealing with the loss of Tyrone haunts the family every day. Even after 3 years, there's no let-up in the pain.
I just loved him so much, and I still to this day, every day, I think of him.
It's happened to me, it's punished me. To me, I hope, it's too late for me now to think and try to help me. It's gone now. But for any other family, it's tough to bring out the teenager's child this time. He was a good boy. Never ever think he was end up like this. But all along, his mind was somewhere else.
It's just like a hole in our family. It's like when someone dies in a car accident, you kind of know why they died, or if they died from illness, you know why. But with Tyrone going, there's no real closure. And you don't realise how important he was to our family until he went. There's just a gap, and we don't know how to fill the gap.
As you've just heard, with suicide there are lots of unanswered questions. In this program we'll hear the voices of young Pacific people answering some of those questions. People who attempted suicide and lived, just like this young man.
I wanted to die because of my mum. She just puts too much pressure on me to be the sporty and the brainy son. And this was my way of telling her to shut up.
Islanders don't really show affection and things like that. Their way of showing love was like working really hard and providing food on the table and a nice house to live in and things like that. But you know what I really wanted was just their time.
At a personal level, I see the distress every day that the children and families are experiencing. And I know that that distress must at times spill over.
Dr. Siale Foliaki is one of only 2 Pacific psychiatrists in the country. He believes there are many factors at play when it comes to suicide and understanding why people do it.
3 main reasons why people complete suicide. They can't deal with the pain. It's too hard to handle. They can't deal with the pain that they're causing other people. And so they do it because they want the pain to stop. They want other people to not experience the pain that they're causing by, you know, perhaps being in the world in a way where it's causing a lot of pain to friends and family. And I think there's a small percentage that it's about they're hurting so much that they want the hurt to stop, but they also want other people to recognise that they weren't paying enough attention to them. So there is an element of hurting others.
After the break, why do our young Pacific people want to take their lives?
For Pacific youth, I think it's much more in the camp that it's much more reactionary. And I think it's much more impulsive.